Back to the breaking news we got from the UK today. Dame Vera Lynn has died at the age of 103. Really the voice of the Second World War, a source of comfort for so many. Her songs beloved by people listening on the radio at home and by the soldiers as she performed in person for them at the front. Her most famous song, let's listen to that a little bit more. We'll meet again.
We'll meet again. Don't know where, don't know when, but I know we'll meet again some sunny day.
Released in 1939, and that's a 1943 clip of her performing that. Incredible quality video there. It's our introduction to Renee Filippone, who's in London, and going to tell us a whole lot more about Dame Vera Lynn. Renee, good morning.
Good morning, Heather. She really was the voice of a wartime generation, and her song resilience and hope to the soldiers on the front, people here in London. And in fact, you know, those songs were broadcast right across the world during that war. Now, she was born in 1917 to a working class family in East London and went on to become a professional dancer and singer. And then when World War II broke out, she wanted to be part of the war effort, but instead she was told her talents as an entertainer would better serve the troops. So she was part of a number of BBC programs. Her songs were broadcast, you know, in the air raid shelters and in the tube stations here and overseas to the soldiers on the front line. She even had her own radio show. And then in 1939, there was a vote with the Daily Express, and they elected her the sweetheart. Basically, that was the title. She was given the Forces Sweetheart, and that title has stuck until today at 103 when she passed away. 1939 was also the same year that song that you played, We'll Meet Again, was first broadcast, and that is really her most iconic song. She also had another one that was quite popular during the war called White Cliffs of Dover, which would be sort of what soldiers would have seen when they returned to the UK. So very poignant songs, particularly during World War II. Now, as I mentioned, she was told her talents would be best served as an entertainer. And at one point, she did join the troops and traveled to India and Burma to be there with them on the front lines. And in 2008, she spoke to the CBC's Adrienne Arsenault about that. Have a listen to what she had to say.
I felt that I was adding a little bit to the war effort, rather than just going around singing. One thing they used to say to me, which was very touching, they said, well, home can't be so very far away if you're here.
And, you know, she never really gave up the connections with the veterans from World War II, constantly being a part of the memorials through the years, even continuing to refer to the vets as her boys.
You know, she's not just a voice of the past. Her message remained very relevant, really up to these present times, Renee.
Absolutely. You know, here we are at a time in the coronavirus battle that many have been describing as a war. In the UK, people are isolated in their own homes. And the words from that song, We'll Meet Again, were in fact used by the Queen when she addressed the nation during this time. Have a listen to that.
We should take comfort that while we may have more still to endure, better days will return. We will be with our friends again. We will be with our families again. We will meet again.
And remember, Heather, the Queen herself was a member, was a part of the war effort herself, so that was a very poignant song for her. And we did, in fact, hear from Vera Lynn just a couple of months ago on her 103rd birthday. And she had said, she sent out a message to the British people of joy during these very hard times.
Renee, I'll look forward to talking to you again. I would imagine there's going to be reaction from the Queen to this and a lot of other reaction, too, at the passing of Dame Vera Lynn. We'll talk more in the morning. Thank you very much, Renee Filippone.